All right, welcome back as we're going to reel in for the Fairview IT Management Cup Series here. We got our starting runners here. Gunnar Vender on red, Nathaniel Burden on white, Randy Kirtley on green, Guillermo Sire on orange, Jay Latham on blue, and Glenn Burden on yellow. Racers, are you ready? Watch your lights. Here we go for the first little bit here. We also have our rookie racers over on the oval track. Our first incident to take place here in the camel hump portion of the track. This is the 2023 World's Practice Track from the Czech Republic. I just heard some pretty cool information during the break about this track that they actually just got done rebraiding the one from New Jersey. So Glenn and Nathaniel there are going to get strikes. Looks like another one here too. And Jay, so yellow, blue, and white taking strikes. Got two cam modes for this one. Looks like we're dropping a little bit of frames here, but nothing too serious here. So we have scene 8 and scene 9 here. Oh, sorry, not scene 9. Front blue. So that's our other view here. So got a yellow flag here and a car coming off in the horseshoe right before the start finish line. That's going to be Randy Kirtley taking a strike on green lane. Gunner, did you wreck or no? Okay. So Gunner there with a strike also on red. Four red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. Most of the snow here, pretty good about that. I know a few of the kids were really wanting to have another day off from school, but I don't think it's going to happen for them tomorrow. Looks like Nathaniel Burton going to take another strike. Nathaniel now on his second. He is going to have to pipe her down a smidge. Minute and 30 seconds left in the heat. Guillermo Sires out to an early lead. Gunner right there behind him with Jay and Randy and Glenn. Each one of these laps about anywhere from 6.5 seconds to 8 seconds. This is a flat track. A lot of times guys will run the 332nd NSR type cars or the poly cars and stuff like that on here. We do run Flexi class on here, fixing to get some motors in from Ralph Thorne to start preparing for the Flexi Challenge here at Lanes Raceway. I think some of the guys are going to Georgia at Alpine this coming week. So that'll be Gunner's second strike there. I hope they can at least get a car in the A main up there. That'd be nice. But if they bring home a win, that would even be so much nicer. Last Flexi Challenge race they went to, Randy brought home a win in the B main. We'll see Gunner take his third strike there. He's going to be off for the remainder of the heat. And Nathaniel coming off. That'll be his third. So Nathaniel and Gunner both taking 3. Everybody else safe for now. Car coming off there in the camel hump. It's going to be Jay Latham receiving a strike on blue lane. His second. Jay is now going to have to pipe her down a smidge himself. Ooh, Glenn Burden car going to come out there in the horseshoe. Now, sometimes whenever you get used to running bank tracks, it's tough to judge a flat track. Down to 4 out of 6. T helping track marshal there. If you just hear me talk about T, that's T right there below the Fairview IT management sign. That's the other half of Lane's Raceway on a day-to-day basis. Another yellow flag. Let's go to the front here. Might be a better view there. Looks like Cotton Candy Randy going to take a strike there. That'll be his second. So 2 strikes green, 2 strikes blue, 2 strikes yellow. Zero strikes orange. John says it can be a tough transition on some drivers. Yeah, especially as many heats as they've ran so far on bank tracks, whether it be the tri-oval or the orange. It is a tough transition to make sometimes, especially at the very beginning. Go ahead and clear these strikes out. We're going to take a look here. Guillermo's going to be currently in the lead with 19. He was pretty quick last week, as you guys could remember, or the week before last. We were canceled last week because of snow. Randy Kirtley there was 16. Jay Latham 15. 14 Glenn Burden. 8 for Gunner. 7 for Nathaniel. The one thing you guys can definitely tell is that Gabriel Kirtley's not here. He's usually running side by side with Guillermo. And Jay, he's been quite well in this series too. Uh, Randy, of course, he had some bad luck the last time he raced here and ended up getting wrecked out, and that cost him. But still far from being over. Randy Kirtley definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with on this track. Now's a good time to thank our sponsors for the Four Crowns. Fairview IT Management out of Owensboro and Bowling Green, Kentucky. For all of your IT needs, are you being hacked? Are you under malware attack? Give them a call. They'll fix you up because they know how to speak the language of the computer, to say the least. Livermore, Kentucky Subway. Are you hungry? Do you want a footlong? Hey, why don't you give these guys a call? 270-278-5999 and get yourself a 12-inch sub or a big old box of cookies and put them in your ice cream because they're about the best cookies for ice cream, hands down, in my opinion. I love wadding them up in some butter pecan ice cream and just having a go with it. They got 10% off of, if you get a receipt from them, you get 10% off here of an item up to $100, and you can take 10% off from Subway if you take a receipt from here. So, pretty good deal. I'll tell you what, a lot of people use it. We got a lot of Subway boxes and drinks and everything in here. And really, if you're not serving food at a slot car track, you really got to have a Subway or you got to have a Mexican restaurant, which was our first business, to kind of anchor you down because, people get hungry and they will leave and not come back. But if you got a place next door that they can eat and then you come right back, most people go get them something to eat, come back, eat, go right back to racing slot cars. It's pretty good. Four red lights are going to drop out to green. We'll be going back racing. Right now in the rookie series over there on the GRC Oval, we got Mark in the lead, 154 to Brian Bender, 152. So they're pretty close. But our main event here has got Guillermo Sire out in the lead. So we see Randy Kirtley's car coming off. Again, he's having some issues again with this car. Oh, I got my mouse upside down. I was like, why is my mouse doing that? Okay. So Randy Kirtley there is going to receive a strike. That's a weird feeling if you didn't know it. So my mouse clicker pointed towards me. I guess it got swapped somehow. Need a hot dog machine. We had one, and we started reading the rules about like whether or not you could have certain types of food, and hot dog was a serious gray area, and we just didn't want to risk it that early on. We had like an actual stainless steel tub that my uncle from Kips to Go in Island, Kentucky, uh, he let us have to cook hot dogs in, but yeah, we kind of strayed away from it because we didn't have a sink over at Old Lanes. We do got popcorn too in the bags that we get from Sam's Club. So they do eat that. We got beef jerky. We got snack foods in here that's, prepackaged. Stuff that we can't really get in trouble about. Maybe in the future though. You never know. So Guillermo Sire's going to take a strike there. Sorry about that. And the guys like the beef jerky. We specialize in getting some really weird drinks in here too, John. Like, I mean, weird drinks. Look, we go all over the place trying to find the craziest drinks. Yeah, it is, man. And the thing is, what gets you is they make jobs for those people just to bust up into your place and be like, I need to see your food license, just for no reason other than to just bust you, really. Unless you pay them the 200 or whatever dollars it requires for you uh, to be able to have that license. I mean, it's extortion. It's at the smallest amount, it's extortion. Except they call themselves government instead of the mafia. It's funny though, John. Some of the things you always hear, two things you can't escape: death and taxes. Like, yeah, that's legitimate. Like, if you pay your taxes, everything's linked to the internet now. You don't pay it, they'll come for you. Guillermo and Nathaniel gonna take strikes there. So that was Guillermo, and the other one was Nathaniel on red. Yeah, no better word for it. Extortion. Yeah, that's all it is, man. I watched a TV show a couple weeks back called The Tulsa King with Rocky Balboa in it. I can't remember. Sylvester Stallone, yeah. And anyways, he just like comes into this town, dude. I'm not trying to spoil it. It's just like one very small part. But he just rolls up into the town. He walks into this guy's business and he's like, "Yeah, you're going to start paying me some money now." And the guy was like, "Okay." Well, that's the U.S. government when it comes to taxes. Uh, the only difference is they won't just burn your business down. What they'll do is they'll come and throw you in prison for 20 or 30 years. I mean, if people had a choice, like burn my business down or put me in prison for 20 years, I'm sure they'd say just burn my business down. But they like to double dip. Like I said, I'm not complaining because there is no better place on earth to live, in my opinion, than the U.S. And where we got it's pretty good. We got a good sheriff here. Four red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. Guillermo Sire is in the lead by one lap, but Randy is slowly making that a non-existent thing as he's turned 12 laps, him and Jay and Glenn. So they're picking up the pace there a little bit. See a car the second to the last corner there coming off. It's rough. You guys know on this track it's real rough. So that's going to be a strike there on Gunner. That'll be his second. You know, we were one of the last towns in Kentucky that actually went wet. And they just now went wet in Livermore this last election. And simultaneously decided medical marijuana was a good idea too. I don't really have any ups or downs about it. Jay Latham's going to take purple there. Debtor's prison. Yeah. It's like you would figure they'd have more better things to do than to try to mess with small businesses or people just trying to make a way in life, literally trying to make a way. All the rules and regulations always go to help them. Strikes there for Glenn Burden. Richard Gullo. Is this the last race for tonight? Nope. We got one more after this. Our 72 pitch will be the last race. And that's the one the guys love the most. Randy Kirtley there, 34 laps. Guillermo Sire, 34. A little change of transition after two heats. 31 laps, Jay. 31, Glenn. They're battling for third position. Gunner and Nathaniel, 22 and 22. They're battling for that fourth position. Tax it, same as with prostitution, and make revenue. Richard, yes, it will be on the flat track. Well, I mean, in a sense, John, I mean, really, if you get right down to it, dude, what are business owners in this world other than prostitutes for the government? Like the government's the big pimp. Uh, I mean, only thing is they church it up with a bunch of lawyer talk. But at the end of the day, it's they always got their hands out trying to take the money you earned. And I mean, you know, the overreach, like you said, is so strong that they're even taxing workers that are just, you know, literally putting forth physical services that shouldn't even be taxed. You know, maybe in the future, uh, you know, it'll go back to the way it was that you can't tax labor, but I don't know, man. They still do it. Robert Whitaker, nice track. Thank you, Robert. Robert's one of our number one fans on Facebook. Like I said, though, John, I mean, we got it really good here in this town. It's a small town, predominantly elderly folk here, not a lot of crime and stuff. Like, I don't really have a good reason to gripe other than I just hate every month when I see taxes coming out of my business. And it's just like, this couldn't have come out at a worse time. You know, and it's if you make a pretty good month and you're like, man, we made money this month, then it's like, boom, the next day taxes come out and you're like, we didn't make nothing. We're eating frozen pizzas again this month. But I'm really open to all of my guys and stuff like that. They know the situation here at Lanes Raceway, so they all help. Like I said, these guys are really good guys. I'm not making that up when I say these guys care about Lanes Raceway like I do. Oh man, John, Grapes of Wrath. Whew, that's a sad movie there. That's about the depression. I mean, technically, I guess we are in somewhat of a depression here. All right, looks like we're back in round robin 3 of 8. And the crazy thing about the depression, I sit and I think about it sometimes, is that there were so many people in the U.S. working hard, had land, stuff. Yeah, granted, there was a few droughts here and there, but the news always blows things out of proportion. Like when it flooded here in '97, they acted like everybody in McLean County was on rafts and that everything was destroyed. But it was just like really, I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't destruction there, but it was right next to the river, and that was about it. Yeah, you ain't lying, John. 30 trillion in debt. Not to mention that Bitcoin being such a resurgence, and there's a lot of people putting a lot of faith into cryptocurrency, whether it be Bitcoin or anything else. It's like I said, the social structure revolving around the www and the dot coms type stuff has really transitioned this world into like a putting brain chips in their head. I seen a thing where a guy got one of those brain chips from the Tesla guy, and he's playing video games like better than anybody. I never could see myself doing that, even if I was paralyzed. But I don't know. Fake news. Yeah. All right. So Glenn and Gunner are gonna take strikes. Yeah. I'm just talking. Uh, I mean, man, it's hard to even know about anything these days. I mean, other than math itself, like 2 plus 2 equals 4. We all know that. Cryptocurrency, what backs it up? Nothing. Well, it's kind of like the same thing as like supply and demand. Uh, you know, what makes food cost more this year than last year? Well, the price of gas went up, all this other stuff. But instead of gas, you're talking about the price of electricity. So Glenn Burden and Jay Latham getting strikes there. Looks like that'll be Glenn's third, and Jay will be taking his first. So you've always heard of bubbles. Bitcoin currently right now, in my opinion, is on a bubble because nobody's selling it. Just remember, fear of the government that fears your guns. Yeah, well, speaking of that, we have a Second Amendment flag that rolls up in this place, and on my door it actually says, "We encourage concealed carry in this facility." So it's pretty big here in this town anyway. So that'd be Guillermo Sire taking a strike. They always say shouldn't talk about guns in today's climate and everything else. I'm just like, well, I mean, think about if we didn't have them, how we would be like Europe. Like Europe, man's in turmoil right now. It's wild. Like all these people rioting in the streets and everything. You don't hardly hear about it. You gotta like go look for it, but it's crazy. Yeah, guns are a good thing, man. And around here, all the families and stuff raise their kids to learn how to shoot. We got a real big deer problem here. Like deers just reproduce like crazy here, and they're huge. Uh, so if we didn't have a deer season, deers would be like rats here. Like it's funny. My wife, she went and took the trash out a while ago, and there was 3 bucks out back, right next to the dumpster. So it's not a big flex if you get like a 10 or a 12 pointer in Kentucky. I mean, it's still pretty cool. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, man. I can't believe you got a 12 pointer. That's a good buck." But if you got that same 12 pointer in, let's say, like North Carolina or South Carolina, like you're like, wow, that's rare. So looks like Gunner's going to take a strike here. Something I found out that was kind of rare, and I didn't even know it was rare around here. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. But kind of blew my mind. Me and my wife went hunting 3 years ago, right before we opened up Lane's Raceway, and we seen a black deer, a black white-tailed deer. It actually looked like a coyote in a weird way, but we didn't shoot it because I was like, man, that's really cool. So I didn't shoot it. Come to find out, they're super rare. They do exist. Gonna head over here to the track mate. Randy Kirtley now in the lead, 52 laps, 51 for Guillermo. Jay Latham, 48, 40 for Nathaniel, 38 for Glenn, and 37 for Gunner. But yeah, there's several guys in here right now that's got concealed carries, and it's a good kid environment, I think. Uh, here goes the neighborhood. Yeah. Uh, well, that was an old '90s saying, right? Uh, that they would say, it was pretty popular in the California areas and stuff because everybody was shooting each other with guns. There goes the neighborhood. Here comes a family you don't want living next to you and stuff like that. But all that was, it's just like you said, it was an attack on your freedoms. Uh, but a lot of people can't see it. So I mean, I don't get upset at people that don't like guns. I mean, there was a point in my life that I didn't like them. They scared me. And another reason I just couldn't afford them. They're not cheap, and they make that for a reason. But when I got married, it's been over 10 years now, and she got me one for my Christmas. We lived out in the country, and I was able to shoot, so I just went out there, man. I just started shooting. I was having a blast. Yeah, great sport for the kids. It's awesome. Gunner here, he just got him a 410 shotgun for Christmas. I seen a video of him. He was racking some loads off, man. It was cool. And we got a lot of country area that you can shoot guns and stuff around here. It's a culture thing. It depends on really where you're at. I mean, nobody ever wants to always be berated where they live. So, like, I can understand, like, if you lived in predominantly left side of town or something like that, in like big cities, in inner cities and stuff, how that could be deemed as a negative thing. But when you live out in the country, man, it's a negative thing not to have a gun. Like, you're a weird person. So uh, I don't know. I guess you just got to make your own mind where you want to live at the end of the day. But I would much prefer, if something bad was to happen right now, there's like three or four guys in here, and myself included, that if somebody come in here thought they was going to rob this place, it would end very badly for them. So, you know, and all these guys hunt, so they're really good shots. Even the kids are good shots. With the drug epidemic, slot cars are a great way to get away from the wrong kind of people. It is. We definitely try to promote a family atmosphere here. And I mean, I even got a big race that we were fixing to do, and I even posted, no excessive foul language and stuff like that. We're not trying to raise our kids to be bad people. Yeah, my dad, he would say, "This is definitely not a soft spot." That's what he would say. He was like, "Yeah, kids are safe here. Trust me, because this is definitely not a soft spot." All right, so that would be Glenn Burden taking a strike. That'll be his first. And Glenn's car coming off again. Maybe a braid issue, possibly. But yeah, this town, John, I'll tell you, man, it's a lot like an Andy Griffith type town. The whole county, for that matter. Like I said, we got a good sheriff. I wasn't saying that slackjaw. Like it's funny. He's actually my brother-in-law. Well, my wife's brother-in-law. But uh, it's a good county, man. We got people here that really care about the county. They're trying to, you know, bring more businesses in and stuff like that. People with a lot of good morals, man, just good people. It is a type of town. I'm not saying it ain't got its problems and there's not drug people here in this town. I think it's every town, but the population's so small that it at a minimum. Uh, and not to mention that this is just a place like you could literally leave your doors unlocked at night, and it's just a good place to grow up, man. I, Everybody's like, "What are you going to do when you graduate? You going to move off?" I was like, "No. Why would I want to move off? I live in the best place on earth. I feel like." Now everybody knows your business, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a pretty open guy. Just call me. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care. I'm not hiding from nothing. Four red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. Randy Kirtley and Guillermo Sire are tied up still. 56 total laps. It's crazy. They're battling it out pretty hard. Jay Latham, he's coming up though. 51 laps. See another incident taking place right before the camel hump. That's going to be Guillermo. Guillermo there on green. We'll take a strike. My twin sister is the mayor of Oak Grove, Kentucky, I believe, by Clarksville, Tennessee. That is awesome, man. It is a small world, really. It really is a small world. So you kind of know Oak Grove. I've been there before. You kind of know what I'm talking about. And Clarksville, Tennessee, been there too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's where we got our oval track from. Dad, did we get our oval track from Clarksville, Tennessee, or Fayetteville? Newport, Tennessee. And that was an interesting place. Newport, Tennessee was. That's going to be another strike there for Guillermo Sire. Quit, man. Newport, Tennessee is where we got it. A one horse town, literally one horse town. Uh, Newport, Tennessee, I remember climbing a mountain for what felt like 3 hours. We get at the top of this thing, literally had one bank in the whole place. Didn't even have a stoplight in this town. And it's kind of like Livermore in a weird way. Had a slot car track though. They had a Blue King there. They had another track, and then they had the tribal that we got. But it's a pretty cool place, Newport, Tennessee. I wouldn't mind living up there. I mean, they live on a rock. It was pretty cool. There was places you could pull off and literally drink mountain water. So Jay Latham and Gunner are going to take a strike here. Tennessee's a very pretty place, though. That's where my mom's family's from. But I do love Tennessee. Get another yellow flag here. Looks like Gunner coming off again. That'll be Gunner's second strike. A lot of two strikers going on. That's the second strike. So red's got two, green's got two, yellow's got two, and purple's got two. Everybody else got none. John said, I raced on a 165-foot Blue King for years. Uh, Funny you say that. I got some pictures over there from '89 when Dad had his track in downtown Livermore. Uh, I'm acting like Livermore's this huge city. It's really not. Downtown is literally like I could probably pitch a rock and hit downtown from here. But he had an American Blue King down there in '89 and '90. And they raced Group 7 cars. He was talking about Omni controllers, or we was talking about Omni controllers earlier. Seen it in chat, and this was before Omni controllers. They were still running the Parma controllers, and I remember the guys coming in there with welding gloves with the tips of the fingers cut out, and they would melt them controllers down every race, racing those Group 7s. Insulation would melt and everything else. So that looks like Glenn Burton's going to take his third strike there on red lane. But Blue King, I would say, out of all the American tracks made, that is the most famous track. That's the one everybody wants to beat records on. You know, Girding is, I guess, king of making the Blue Kings for sure. They had one not too far from here at one time in White House, Tennessee, and they ended up selling that. It was Go Fast was the name of the place, and they ended up selling that track off to Piranha there in California. The same people that ended up buying the World's track there from 2023. Heading over to the track mate, Randy Kirtley in the lead, 70 laps, one lap up on Guillermo Sire at 69, 62 for Jay Latham, Nathaniel Burden 58, 52 for Gunnar Vinder, Glenn Burden at 50. John says it's been my pleasure talking to you. I'll definitely be back. Thank you, John. Have a good night. Now's a good time to talk about our sponsors for the Four Crowns. Fairview IT Management out of Bowling Green in Owensboro, Kentucky for all your IT needs. Do you need somebody to keep you from getting in trouble online and clicking on some email you shouldn't click on? Well, Fairview IT Management can help you in all regards when it comes to that. Give them a call. They're out of Owensboro and Bowling Green area. And Livermore, Kentucky Subway, 270-278-5999. Go get you a sub over there. John, you have a beautiful place, my friend. See you again. John, I appreciate your kind words, man. Can't wait to see you again. It's good talking to you. Brian, who ended up winning that race? You did? So Brian and Mark ended up racing the rookie class over there on the oval. Looks like Brian was able to make the victory there. Looks like we're dropping quite a few frames here. 2,880 on this live stream. It's always hit or miss whether the internet's going to work here. Spectrum internet and all. They like to bog her down towards the evening time. Pretty good internet though, for the most part. Just works better during the day. Round robin 5 of 8 right now. Like I said, been a battle between Randy and Guillermo Sire. But if you guys like what you see, you like slot car racing, you like RC racing, and it also helps out the whole hobby of slot car racing. So we get more and more people viewing slot car racing. That's what it's about. Let's get more and more slot car racing. Good social thing. Me and John's been talking about all night long. It's just good to be social, get around other people, have a good thing to do, and not real expensive thing to do. I mean, the sky's the limit with any hobby, but you can get in this pretty cheaply and let it last a long time. Looks like Gunnar Bender going to take a strike here. Right now, we focus in on yellow lane, coming across the start line. 1, 2, 3. Now in the camel hump, he's narrowly misses a wreck from Jay Latham. Jay Latham going to come off there in the camel hump. Glenn Burden walking around there. T had to get a picture of our rookie racers. She's back now in the seat, and she'll help track marshal the race. Minute 27 seconds left in the heat. We're about 30 seconds into it. Right now, Randy Kirtley turned to 6.344 is his best. He's currently hanging on to that lead by a hair. As he comes from first, second, third, and camel hump. Coming around the second to last into the horseshoe. Back around the start-finish line. He's kind of in no man's land currently. So let's kind of focus in there on that blue lane. Guillermo Cyrus, he comes around the start-finish line first. Side black lane of Gunnar Vinder. And we get a track call here. The second to last corner there. That's going to be Nathaniel Burton taking a strike. Four red lights are going to drop out yet again. Nathaniel Burton, all season long, been doing really, really well about keeping his car on and just kind of running a nice, clean pace. And it's paid off several times for him this season alone. And this is the main season that you want things like that to take place, as they're running for laps, but also they're running for points. Points in each individual season series, but laps when it comes to being king. Glenn Burton there, he's going to take a strike on green lane. Right now, green's got a strike, orange got a strike, purple got a strike, and black's got a strike. Guillermo Sire quick on the button in the third to the last corner there. Going to receive a strike. Guillermo definitely doesn't need that when he's trying to run for that lead. Gunnar Vinder there, going to pass the car down. All right, here we go. Yet again, 10 and 11 laps is what we're seeing here. Everybody's running pretty close together. Like I said, anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds is about what these guys run, depending on the car on this track. 72 pitch stuff handles a little bit better than these Champion Turboflex. That's the chassis these guys are using, Champion Turboflex. Mid 2000s, 90s, early mid 2000s, because there was a Champion chassis and then it went to the Champion Turbo. I don't know about what time that happened, but the chassis really hasn't changed much over the years. Kind of very similar to a Flexi 2 in a weird way. But they all have to run the same chassis and the same motor. Gear ratio is subject to change with these guys. So Guillermo and Glenn are going to take a strike here. That'll be both of their second strikes here. So blue's got 2 and green's got 2. Everybody else is safe at least for one more strike. 14 seconds left to go on the clock. As we get another yellow flag there from Nathaniel Burton in turn 1. He's going to receive a strike there on purple. So from bottom to top, about 20 lap difference separating these guys. As we end round robin 5 of 8. We're going to go ahead and clear out these strikes and take a look here at the track mate. Randy Kirtley out in the lead, 89 total laps. Guillermo Sire 3 laps down with 86 after having some car trouble there in the last heat. Jay Latham 78 there in third position, hanging on there by 3 laps against Nathaniel Burton. Gunnar Vinder there 68, hanging on to it by 2 laps from Glenn Burton with 66. Special thanks to our sponsors, Fairview IT Management and Livermore Subway, for putting up $1,000 a piece for these racers, and we match it with track bucks here at Lanes Raceway for a total purse of $4,000 to be had during this season. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. We'll be back with you. blast every once in a while. All right, 4 red lights dropping out to green. We're going back racing. Randy Kirtley currently your leader there on Orange Lane as he comes around to the front stretch, side by side on black first, second, third now in the camel hump. Neck and neck, side by side with Nathaniel Burden. Nathaniel pushes a little too hard in the first corner and comes on out. Nathaniel's going to take a strike here. During the break here, enjoying ourselves a Pepsi product. We sell Pepsi products here. Mountain Dew Baja Blast, folks. You know, got a good Pepsi guy here also at Lanes Raceway. Guy come in right before we open up Lanes Raceway, got us a Pepsi fridge. We stock it with Pepsis from the local. And tell you what, it's been pretty good. We didn't have to pay nothing for it because we, you know, I mean, I guess that's, what do you call it, paid promotion. But nonetheless, it's been a good fridge. Pepsi's have been good. I like Pepsi. I like Pepsi and peanuts. People probably getting sick when they hear that, but I like Pepsi and peanuts. Another car coming off. Every time I think about Pepsi and peanuts, though, I think about the Sandlot. When I think about the Sandlot, I think about whenever we was kids playing baseball and how I wish I had a time machine that I could use. Not just any normal time machine, but like when you use this time machine, like ever how far back you go, you get younger. I would just go back and relive my childhood, you know. Jay Latham's going to take one on white. You probably heard me say it a lot on the stream that I got White Sox blood whenever I'm trying to brag about myself, which it's not very often. But, you know, or at least I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Uh, but nonetheless, I'll say I got White Sox blood. We don't give up around here. And that's just something I used to say back whenever growing up was on the White Sox baseball team. That was probably a highlight of my childhood. Gunner going to take a strike there. We stayed undefeated in pretty much every year. We'd either win the tournament and lose one game, or we would win the season and lose one game in the tournament. There was only 2 years that we won it both. So yeah, we were pretty tough, um, and that you couldn't say like we had the best people on there because like we only had one guy from our team that went on to play in like what they called the Babe Ruth, and that was Derek. He was the catcher at the time for our team, and he was on for 1 year, and then they took him to Babe Ruth. Other than that, we didn't have anybody that went to Babe Ruth. But I'll tell you right now, till the day is old, my brother was a better catcher than Derek. Even though he didn't get a go, I'm just saying he was that good. My brother was unreal at catching the baseball. Let me take a peek here, and I'll tell you. Gunner, that'll be two. So white's got two, and yellow's got two. But yeah, he could catch the ball, man. Like, and I was a horrible, horrible pitcher. I could pitch really fast, but man, I was wild, especially at the very beginning. But my brother, he could catch it. He used to beat me up in the middle of the night whenever, you know, it'd be a close game. He's like, get him out of there, man. Then I'd get out of there. They put a buddy of mine, Nick, in at pitching. And then Nick, he'd get a little wild. They put my buddy Daniel in there. My brother's like, we got to do something. We're going to lose. But man, my brother, he could do some triple plays there as a catcher, man. He'd take that ball and he'd fire that dude at second base, and we'd get him all the time in a pickle, man. We was always practicing pickles, recess too, in elementary school. So that's gonna be a strike there for Nathaniel Burden. And our coach was really cool too. Our coach's name was Richard, and you know we had girls and guys on our team. This was back in a time whenever you know girls didn't try to be guys and guys didn't try to be girls. You know, this was a time that you know you just who was who you was. You were just always trying to help each other out. And I'll tell you what, man, he would swap us in, and the girls on our team were just as good as the guys. Like when we first started, I wouldn't say we was very, very good, but practice, we were all dedicated, and we practice hard. Anytime somebody get out of line, we might fight them a little bit, rough them up a little bit, and then they get back in line. I got roughed up a few times myself. Randy Kirtley, 107, 105 for Guillermo Sire. Jay Latham, 93, 91 for Nathaniel, 85 for Gunner Glenn, 83. Such thanks to our sponsors, Fairview IT Management and Livermore Subway. Thanks for putting up $1,000 for these racers. They deserve it. Good racers. But yeah, I remember, since before they all just got participation trophies and stuff, you had to earn what you got. And we would razz the other teams hard. We would take Queen, We Are the Champions, and we'd play it for the baseball games. And you could still see some remnants of it from back in the day when the parents would get really really zealous over their kids. But I mean, our parents, man, they were the type of parents that would grab the chain link fences and shake it, get all upset. I guess the kids call it nowadays being very based, but that's the kind of childhood I grew up with. Kind of made you tough. It's kind of cool too. You always hear about getting stuck outside in the summertime and having to drink out of water hoses. Like that was life. That was legit. That wasn't a lie. And you couldn't come in until like right before dusk. And if you stayed out too long, there wasn't cell phones. Like you'd hear your mom whistle, and you knew you was getting your butt whooped when you got home. I do miss those days. It's a good time. And you didn't dare miss church on Sundays. Here I am. I'm stuck here working on Sundays. Can't say I like it, but Dad is trying to roll every single lane on this place. We rode every one of these lanes before we even started. I don't know what he's doing. He just likes rolling everything. He's an automatic roller, I guess. It's a smart idea for Randy. Probably more important to roll the track than it is to oil your car in a scenario if you know that people before you were not racing as cleanly. We have a lot of rental cars and stuff where kids and stuff get on the track and stuff and roll it up. Jay Latham going to come off here. Gunner Bender. Stern at Stern Pinball right now having a competition. It's a raceway competition. They just fired up a new raceway this week with different challenges for each pinball machine. You select the pinball machine, see where you qualify and stuff. As long as you're in a Stern Insider connected program, you can scan in on our pinball machines and see how good you do. First week they had the turkey trot. I did it, and I was in tier one. I made it all the way to like 2000th place. But man, I was so far behind in the qualifier that it killed me. So this will be a strike for Gunner. That'll be his second one. But I still have fun playing pinball. I always try to do better than I did the previous time, but it's a tough task sometimes in pinball. That's why we try to keep them as clean as we can, keep them polished up, buffed up, and stuff like that. Because you never, ever want to play a pinball dry, mess up the top coat on it. The slicker the balls and the slicker the surface, the less damage you do. But the faster the pinball play. And I can only see, good things coming from faster pinball play. You get your hand-eye coordination up a little bit, makes you a little bit quicker. That way, if you do go to places that don't take care of their pinballs and stuff like that, you know, you're better because you've been playing on a fast pinball machine. It's kind of like racing too. If you ever went out and raced a really, really fast car and then you come back and you get in a slow car, it's like super easy. It's almost like cheating. Randy Kirtley now getting a little bit of distance there on Guillermo Sire by a couple laps. Car coming off in the camel hump. 3. So that'd be Orange's third there. Guilford Raceway. Hey, I'm back. Also known as Mayor. Okay. Earlier, I think I heard John call you that, and I thought he was talking to me. I was like, well, I mean, I guess that's a nickname that somebody wants to give me. Your mic volume is down from earlier. Okay, let me check that. Turn it up a smidge. Hopefully that's good. Hopefully we don't get a copyright strike here. Sometimes that happens. Is that better there? Hopefully it's better. See another car coming off here. Another 2 cars. Get back over on the screen here. So that's Randy and Jay coming off. Be Jay's second, Randy's first. And that is definitely the kind of stuff that Guillermo's looking for. He's looking for Randy to do a little bit more wrecking like that. As they're within 1 lap of each other right now. Guillermo on one side of the track, Randy on the other. And we're going to get a red flag rotation. Randy is going to hang on to it by 2 laps coming into the final heat here. They're going to get 2 minutes off here, and then they'll be right back into the action. Randy Kirtley in first position, 126, 124 for Guillermo, 110 for Nathaniel there. Try his best to get that third position in the last heat at 108. Glenn Burton 101 and 96 for Gunner. Guilford says, yes, sir. My sweet Jane and I ran our channel, and we had too many marks in HO. Yes, volume is a little better. Copyright for music? Question mark. I definitely don't hear music. Yeah, I know. I don't either. That's why I put it down. Uh, but the AI is a funny, fickle beast, to say the least. Did I just exit completely out of the live stream? I might have. What did I do? Oh, it's TrackMate. I must have cleared off. Okay. I'm getting tired, folks. Let me get that back up here. Wow. It's funny whenever you're doing this. Sometimes it'll get you crossed up eye-wise. All right, let me go back on this before I confuse myself any further. Yeah, what you were seeing was the background of my main. Right, headset died out again. That's the one issue I have with this headset. It only lasts about an hour and then it wants to die out. Yeah, I did. You see the desktop. So that was what was confusing me. So I had it in big screen mode, and all I seen was my desktop, and I was like, man, I done exited out of everything, but it was just in big screen mode. So I got her back up. But yeah, the Restream IO is what we use to do the live stream for YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch simultaneously. Um, but Fairview IT Management is what time to time to their servers, and I have to redo it. That's how y'all see TrackMate and everything else on here. So like the bottom left, you see Randy, Gunner, Jay, Nathaniel, and all that. See, that's coming off of our remote service through Fairview IT. And the chat is actually, I've just cut out a piece of my desktop on the live stream, and you're just seeing it like I see it. 4 red lights are dropping out to a green. Thank you, Gale Force. He says, I'm good now. On to that lead by about a lap. So he's going to have to battle it out for 1 minute and 50 seconds left in this heat. All we're going to do is just do a double feature on this live stream. We're going to continue on just right after this. Gale Force, IT infrastructure guy yourself? That's good, man. I mean, you must speak the language of the computer like my brother. Charles Flattery says, outstanding circuit. Thank you, Charles. This is a uh, cookie cutter copy from Giannis Nobkins of the 2023 Worlds track that they ran in New Jersey. And I just found out during the break there, Gale Force, that they rebraided that track. And after they got done rebraiding it, people were asking where they got the track at. They thought it was a brand new track. Guillermo and Randy on the same lap right now. Randy just taking a wreck there, so he's going to take a strike. This is going to make them really close here. He can't do much of that anymore. Or we're going to see Guillermo take the lead. Guillermo's right behind him there. As Randy goes into the camel hump, Guillermo's right behind him in the camel hump. As we get a yellow flag here. Red car, or orange car of Jay Latham. Jay going to take a strike here. I do indeed speak the IT. Yep. Yep. The old language of, something my brother always talks about, always having to use Microsoft on everything too. Yes. So if you videoed this, the ISRA Worlds in Atlantic City in New Jersey, this is the carbon copy of that from that year. This is the Czech Republic track, their practice track. So this track actually came from the Czech Republic. About right there where Randy Kirtley's knees are is the badge where it says this track's been built by Giannis Nobkins. He said they had issues with the 3M, you know, you can get it off with rubbing alcohol is what they come to a conclusion about. Nathaniel Burden there on orange and Guillermo Sire actually taking a strike here. It looks like Guillermo's going to take another one here as he's involved into another incident here. I'll go ahead and strike him up. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's pretty much brand new, man. Kay Butler said we had a track layout very much like that in Toledo, Ohio. So Giannis has been making flat tracks since, I believe, since 2015 for the Worlds, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got several iterations. We wanted one, I believe, from 2015 was the one that we wanted, and Giannis, once my dad was talking to him, he basically said, well, hey, what about this year? We got one that we can get from Czech Republic. So he called them up, and the guys were, building a track for last year, which they had one in Italy last year, and they said, yeah, we want to get it out because we want to build that track. So they did, and they shipped it here. It took a few weeks. We had to do some shipping company stuff, but it worked. And I actually got the video of the little truck coming in here to deliver it. And it didn't come wired. Of course, Randy Kirtley there on the end in the flannel, he wired it. We wired it number 10 wire, so it's wired up good. You can run group 7s on this if you wanted. I wouldn't recommend it. It'd be a little bit overkill, but he wired it up. I mean, he's been an electrician his whole life, master electrician, so he definitely knows what he's doing. Jay Latham going to take a strike there. That'd be his second. But the guys love this track. It's their favorite track. We're going to be running the 72 pitch here coming up here in just a few moments. And that is the one that they love to shine on. Some of them running Mazzetti 4-inch chassis. Some of them running Mid-America Gemini chassis. Some of the guys running Alios chassis from JK. And those are big ones. Those are hitting the top three of what people like to run flexi-wise. Over chassis. Wow. Uh, Jay Latham come in yesterday and got one of them for the brushless cars. And he ended up hooking his brushless up he got from KC Racing on there. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty nice. So the button has been pressed. We're in a red flag condition here currently with 49 seconds left to go. Randy Kirtley is hanging on to the lead. He's got 135 there on red lane. Randy Kirtley is peeling off shirts. He's hot over here. What cars and scales are you racing? So, Chris, we are racing 124 scale commercial style flexi cars here at Lanes Raceway. Currently, they're running what we call the Fairview IT Cup class, sponsored by Fairview IT Management. But it is a Champion Turbo Flex chassis from Mid-America with Eagle motor, 332nd axle in the rear, running fish tires mostly is what the guys run, the carbon hubs from Mid-America. So it's pretty much a Mid-America car. The bodies that are eligible to run are the Mustangs, Cup cars from Mid-America, and the Ralph Thorne Titans. Those are the only two bodies that they can use. But they can run any gear ratio they want. Ball bearings, all that stuff's open for them. Any kind of axle. We even let them run hollow axles here. But, if you've run hollow axles before, that can be to your detriment. But, yeah, they enjoy it. The chassis, the Champion Turbo Flex chassis, of course, a little bit top heavy in comparison to like the Mazzettis and the JKs and, you know, some of the stamped out flexi chassis. They're a little bit lower to the ground. Run the cut guide flags, get a little bit more weight down low. You can handle a lot better. And that's what's coming up next in the 72 pitch. 72 pitch, of course, just a little bit more fidelity on the gear. Makes for smoother braking, a lot quicker accelerating, especially if you glue the gear in. If you guys know anything about Cleve Tech, they predominantly run stuff like that. And we see a strike here for Guillermo Sire. That'll be his third, so he'll be coming out. And 24 seconds left to go. He may still be able to hang on to second. That'd be three. Yep. Because he's got 139. He's not going to get first here, but he's probably still going to hang on to second just by a hair. As they're looking at 6, 12, 18, 12, or 4 more laps they can make, so that'll make them 128. So Guillermo is going to definitely hang on to second position here. If you guys didn't know, Guillermo was on yellow lane, so he took his third strike there. He's out for the heat. Is this track wired for brakes? Yeah, so whenever they let off the trigger, the brakes will activate. It's the red post here in the U.S. I don't know if that changes European ways. I know European style, they use the banana plugs for you. Nathaniel 2. Nathaniel's asking me a question. No, Guillermo, Rocket. Guillermo's going to hang on to second place. There's no way they can catch him in enough time. We'll see Nathaniel turn 128 if he doesn't wreck. Well, he just wrecked, so he might turn 127. This track is so big, it's a detriment if you wreck towards the end of it. But they have progressed so. Ooh, a little bit of a brake check there. As we see Nathaniel get shot to the wall, him and Jay were checking up on each other, and neither one of them wanted to let either one of them go, or they were both wanting to let each other go. So that's going to cost Nathaniel a third strike there on orange, so he'll be out for the rest of the heat. But Jay, I don't believe he can catch him in 4 seconds, so Nathaniel's still going to bring home a third position here. So we'll go to the strikes, go ahead and clear those out as we had several, end up coming off there. We're going to take a look here at the track mate one last time. Randy Kirtley, 143 total laps. He's going to bring home a victory here. Of course, missing the first race, he was indisposed. He had places to be. I don't want to, express where he had to be. It's kind of private type stuff. Guillermo there in second, 139. 126, Nathaniel there in third. 122 for Jay Latham. 118 for Glenn. 104 for Gunner. Now, basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to put it on the oval so you can see. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to check these guys' cars here. I'll move the 4 crowns out of the way so you can see. But I'm going to check their cars. I'm going to get their pictures for the podium on Facebook. Actually, I didn't stamp these chassis, so I think they're good to go. Guys, 72 pitch coming up next. 72 pitch, of course, still running Eagle motors here. Eagle is like our go-to motor. We sometimes run like Group 20 stuff and things like that too. But yeah, old Guillermo, he's a pretty tough lad to be had here at Lanes Raceway. And he had it there, what I believe, in the bag up until there, right at the end, whenever the pressure got put on between him and Randy. Most of the guys here running DeFalco controllers here, 280, 281s, that's what they mostly run. Jay Latham already got his 72 pitch out there. I'm going to be doing some tech. I don't think she has, Jay. She's taking pictures of the podium right now. But she'll get it here in just a second. So, guys, hopefully you guys don't mind coming with me for a minute. I'm going to start teching these 72 pitch cars with the guys that are ready. And then we'll see if we can get moved on into the 72 pitch race. So, like I said, the new rule changes have changed just a hair, where that I'm now checking right at the gear to make sure the gear ain't dragging. And these are going to be the cars that are going to be the issue. First up here, the Frost King himself in the 43 Frostmobile, Randy Kirtley. I'll check both sides to make sure the pans ain't dragging. I come in on the back, and he's clear. So then we check the width and make sure they're all sorter in motors. The ones I stamp are the ones that aren't. But with 2 minutes in between heats, I don't think we're going to have that issue. So we're going to go ahead and bypass that today. And an Eagle motor here for Nathaniel in his red car is going to pass tech. Up next is Glenn Burden with the black, purple, and orange Gemini. And he's going to pass with an Eagle. So we're basically just waiting on a couple more guys. And I think they're going to run a few practice laps. So what I'm probably going to do is hang the headset for a few minutes over there. And I'm going to take a small break, and I'll be right back with you. Some of the guys I think also going to go get some Subway sandwiches. But we'll be getting back underway racing in less than 5 minutes. So stick around, guys. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you here in just a moment. All right, guys, I'm back. Had to go next door to the Subway. It looks like we're having some technical glitchy issues with the software. We're probably going to restart that before we start our next race. Some of the guys are looking at things right now. They're needing a little extra time before they start the 72 pitch. Right now, the cars you are watching are the 72 pitch cars, and these guys are trying to get warmed up a little bit. Been watching the Chili Bowl all day. It's been pretty cool. It sounds like it's kind of went off the air right now, so I'm going to try to change the channel on that. It's really loud. Oh, excuse me. Put it on a different race here. All right, guys, whenever y'all are ready, bring your cars up here. We'll get them teched. All right, let's take a look here at Jay Latham's Spider Porsche. He clears. Eagle motor. Good. Guillermo Sire up next. The chrome blue. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who are we missing? One more car to check, guys, and we'll be getting into that racing action, 72 pitch style. Some of the cars that we're going to be racing coming up, you guys can probably see me in the circle camera over here, is these JR Salvino models. We're going to be running the NASCAR and Fairgrounds cars. Be a couple months away, though. We're going to have a full series before we start running those. Gunner, this thing is too low, my man. On this side, I can't get it under there. Okay, so you'll either need tires or it's bent or something. I don't know exactly what it is without taking the body off. I'll let you figure that dude out. Dad, you get them chassis ready? Okay, what size? Those look like 760s. There you go. T, 760s. Brian, which one? This one? So this is the revolver here. Well, I know, but that's what that pin tubing was for, wasn't it? Oh, did it? Really? So where do you get that at? Are you kidding me? Well, we need to call Roger and see if he can get the plans for it to get it made. So what he's talking about, folks, is the revolver Mazzetti chassis 3-pan. The center section don't have the clip anymore. It needs to be remade. A trio. Huh. So it does. It just flops over and then drags the track. Kind of like making a stick bridge. Yeah. What's crazy, they don't make it at all. And that's probably why. Well, we might just. Well, what we need to do is just draw it up and just get them made. Well, yeah, because you got that individual flex on each sides like a JK11. But the but he's saying you can't get the crossbar anymore, so it needs to be made. But the revolver being where it's wider up here up at the top helps you turn better, go through flat tracks better. I sold my last one to Jay. I'm gonna have to order more if they even got them. Like, well, I mean they're in transition right now because Roger just bought out Mazzetti. Yeah, so I mean they're in transition, I guess. But then again, JDS is making Mazzetti stuff too, so maybe. Oh, Guillermo, of course Guillermo's got one. What are you talking about? You got that cross brace, Guillermo? Oh, well, that's a 2-pan there. That's like a Defender. Yeah, which you got that because it let it float. Yeah. So let me ask you this: with that clip piece in there, does that like still let them have the individual freedoms? Well, that's a must then. Yeah. Yeah, that's almost a mandatory piece you need. This one ready? You're good. All right, that's everybody. Yeah, that's one of the revolvers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's everybody hooked up and ready to rock. So they're going to get their cars put out here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, T's already got the names in here. Randy Kirtley on red, Glenn on white, Jay on green, Guillermo on orange, Gunner on blue, and Nathaniel on yellow. Looks like Mark's leaving. I'm going to try to wave him down. I don't think he sees me. No, if he don't see me. See you, Mark. If you get home and watch the live stream. Mark was running in the rookie class. He's been kind of disappointed here lately. Not a whole lot of. What's that, Jay? Yeah, it looks good, Jay. Thanks, man. But yeah, he's been kind of disappointed. Not a lot of rookie racers coming in and racing, and we've been trying to get it going again. But like I said, we live in a smaller, populous area. Kay Butler, what is 72 pitch? So whenever you hear gear ratios and pitches, so 48 pitch is the measurement, I believe, between tip and tip. So 48 pitch is going to be a bigger gear. So if you have a 40 tooth 48 pitch, let me see if I can just scan over here real quick. Hang on. So if you have a 40 tooth 48 pitch, it'll be like that big around, well, maybe not that big. But then a 64 pitch, it's the measurement's a little bit tighter. So then, a 64 pitch will be like this, and then a 70 will be like that. They just get smaller between the pitches. The teeth get closer together, essentially. Makes for smoother racing, but you could strip them out a whole lot easier. Uh, but if you set your gear ratios up right, we use the receipt paper here at Lanes Raceway to set it up perfect. If you do that, it's smooth. As long as you don't get in an incident, you ain't going to have any issues with that. And you can set a car up a lot easier. They'll drive better with that more fidelity. With that finer tooth. It's not as chunky is the word I like to use. You get the 48 pitch stuff every time you turn it. Let me go back on this main screen here. Every time you like push the car to go clunk, 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 like that with a 48 pitch. But then whenever you do like a 64, it's like clunk, 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 clunk. Then 72 pitch is like clunk, It's just smoother, like a automatic 10 transmission or something. Let's see. I'm trying to see what I'm doing here. Sorry, I'm losing concentration. Everybody's getting hooked up though. I got me a Baja Blast to finish me out for our final race of the evening. It's been a pretty good one. Looks like we're dropping quite a few frames. I don't know where from, guys. Internet here is up in the air every once in a while, so you're probably getting some video glitches every once in a while. I'm sorry about that. I reset all the system, redone everything. It worked out good at the beginning of the day, but it's almost like it just needs 100% perfect internet to run here. Hopefully the chat's still up and rolling. Looks like we got 5 guys ready to go. We're missing one guy. It's 5 guys burger and fries. Missing Guillermo Sire. He's coming around right now. See him in the upper portion of your screen there. This is our final race of the evening, the 72 pitch series here at Lanes Raceway, running Eagle Motors. Going to be a smooth race and a fast race. These bodies have a lot more downforce than the Fairview IT Cup Series. They're a lot lower to the ground. These chassis are top tech stuff. You was hearing us talk about Mazzetti stuff a little bit earlier. These guys are running revolver chassis, laser cut stuff, top of line stuff. Now, some of these guys have to work on some of these chassis. As like I said, Mazzetti is in between transitioning. I don't know, JDS bought them, Mid-America bought them. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody yet, but I know JDS makes some of Mazzetti's drag chassis. But I had heard through the grapevine that Mazzetti was being bought out by Mid-America, which Mid-America also owns Parma and a few other places. So it's in good hands if it's bought out by Mid-America, because they have the backing to actually push those things out. So that's good. All right, guys, y'all ready? All right, you better be. Watch your lights. 72 pitch, 4 red lights dropping out to the green, the final race of the evening here at Lanes Raceway. Thanks to our sponsors, Fairview IT Management, Livermore Subway coming around. Can we make a full lap without a wreck? No, we can't. Hump in the track cause a bump in the track. First strike, going to go to a red car. Going to go to white lane. Glendis Burden. I thought it was a red car. Look red on the screen. That's actually Glenn's neon orange, purple, and black car. That's something too. Mid-America, man, has been really pushing out those, what are they called? Uh, Mazda bodies. I think that's what they are, Mazda bodies. But man, they've been painting them up. They looking good. Glenn Burton's hitting the button. We're in a red flag condition here. Glenn's going to take his second strike. He's going to have to take a look at this car. He's going to look and see what's up with it. He's going to hand it to Randy. Randy's going to take a look at it. We don't know what Glenn's doing right now. He's doing something. Put some weight in it? I don't know. Curious. The drama ensues here at Lanes Raceway right out of the gate. So Glenn's going to swap chips in his DeFalco controller. T's singing 90s music here in my ear. She's supposed to be track marshaling. She gave me a look, folks. She's mad at me now. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. Our leader right now, Guillermo Sire, out in the lead. In first place there on the orange lane. Ooh, and Jay Latham's car riding the wall. Wow. John Monsalve, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is in Livermore, Kentucky, 606 Hinton Street. Jay, whose white and orange car is that? Is both those getting strikes? Okay. Okay, Gunner and Jay both getting strikes. But yes, John, it is in Livermore, Kentucky, 606 Hinton Street. It's about 17 miles south of Owensboro, Kentucky, about 45 minutes to an hour south of Evansville, Indiana. We have an airport too that you can fly into in Owensboro. So if you ever wanted to come visit, we got hookups in the back for RVs. This is the 2023 World's Track built by Giannis Nobkins. It was one of 3 built for the 2023 World's Race in New Jersey. And it looks like Glenn Burton's going to come off for the 3rd time here. And that'll be our first set out in the 72 pitch class for the heat. 4 green, red lights dropping out to a, 4 red lights dropping out to a green as Randy Kirtley gets slaughtered in the second to the last corner there by 2 cars. Looks like Randy Kirtley's going to take a strike here. He was currently in second position, but after that, he's going to take a strike alongside Jay Latham, which will be Jay Latham's second strike. So already starting, these guys are not giving each other an inch of room. I feel like maybe before this race is done, there may be some broke cars. And you know what that means. Lanes Raceway is going to sell some parts. 4 red lights dropping out to green, and who don't like selling parts? Lanes Raceway does for sure. But a special thanks to our sponsors, Fairview IT Management and Livermore Subway, for putting up $2,000 purse for these guys to race in the 4 Crowns. Got about 4 or 5 more races left to go after this. And the 4 Crowns is done. We'll be Banquet City at that point, and everybody will get their shirts. We'll have us a good old banquet, eat a lot of food. People will get some cash reward prizes. Big checks will be handed out to the winners. Randy Kirtley going to take another strike here. The old Frost King and his new revolver chassis. Not faring too well. We were talking about right before the race started how the revolver chassis is a 3-pan chassis similar to a Cheetah 11, and it doesn't have a center clip that needs to go on it to keep the side pans from dragging. So he has soldered a piece of tubing to hold them together. I mean, the car is fast. You can see it there on red lane coming around to the start finish first, second, third, now camel hump corner. And he's coming back around the start finish again, reeling in the car on yellow there. You see the sheer acceleration of these 72 pitch cars. It's shoo, and then immediately that's how hard they brake too. It's probably the closest thing we got to brushless right now. We have raced brushless here at Lanes Raceway before. Brushless right now is in a weird transitional period. You know, it's the internet before the .com era. So let's see. Right now we got Nathaniel and Gunner taking strikes here. It'll be Gunner's second, and it'll be Nathaniel's first. Nathaniel currently in second position. Like I said, Nathaniel has been doing quite well in the series as a whole. Keeping his car on is the main thing for Nathaniel, and it's been paying off as a lot of people are pushing just a little bit too much. It's causing their cars to come off a little bit more than they would like. Randy Kirtley's trying to make up some time from where he had fell off a couple times here, and that's going to be Randy Kirtley's third strike. But lucky for Randy Kirtley, there is 0 seconds left, so he's not going to lose much. But definitely not what he was looking for in the first heat. Nathaniel Burden was right there on his hips. So was Jay Latham there on green, as both of those guys have come off once before too. We're going to get a red flag rotation right there. So we'll go ahead and clear out the strikes. Randy and Glenn, our first setouts there, taking 3 strikes. Heading over to the track mate, we can see Guillermo Sire in the lead with 20 laps, followed by Randy Kirtley with 17. 16 laps tied up Nathaniel and Jay for third position. Gunnar Vinder there with 15 laps right on their hips. And Glenn Burden there with 4, having some trouble early on with his car, even swapping his chipset in his controller. So we see all these racers roll around right now. They're trying to get their cars worked on and everything else. Guillermo Sire is actually going to be making us some track caddies, as we're going to, in the future after this series, require the guys to work on their cars on the track. So there's no ands, ifs, or buts whether chassis are getting swapped during the race and then swapped back at the end, and we don't have to taxi and all of that. It's kind of like how we ran our IROC series. Everybody had to work on their cars on the track because they were owned by the track until the very end. And then the IROC series was also the brushless series. So it worked out good. We remember it working out good. And we're always trying to develop a more streamlined process for running as many races as we possibly can here, because the majority of these guys here, actually, I think everybody here is members. So if you're a member, you want to run as many races as you possibly can and get as much track time as you can. So we're always with that mindset of how can we run more races and how can we do it more efficiently and not cause issues. And this is what we've come up with so far. So I think it's going good, but there's always room for improvement in many things. You know, down to the software, there's much improvement that can be even done. So we're always trying to work on that. And plus, you know, not always, like I said, we're in a lower populous area. We don't always have a full track to be able to track marshal it. And if we was to split this up, you know, it'd be 3 people racing and 3 people not. You know, it just really wouldn't be as good of a race, you know, side by side, not as much action. So better to run 6, do the buttons, 3 strikes, you're out. It worked for us in the basement, and it was clean, and it's clean here, you know. So it's a weird way of doing it. We still don't stop the old school way of doing things. Like I said, in April we'll have the uh, Flexi Challenge come here to Lanes Raceway. A lot of people excited about that, coming from different states and stuff to race in that. And they run a open track, and they'll have track marshals and stuff like that. So we're going to have a class in the future like that too. But it really just boils down to getting enough people to run it. So that's the issue. In the meantime, this is how we solve it. And it's pretty good. Everybody has an equal opportunity to stop the track with a red button on their driver panel. So there's no question that, you know, you didn't put my car on too quick or too slow or whatever. And it makes for some fair racing. But it does make for some stop and go racing. I'm not going to say it don't. But we can't make it 1 strike, you're out. That'd be horrible. A lot of people would be upset then. We'd have to race like 30 races in a day. So we're going to see our first incident here in round robin 2 of 8. And it's going to be the red car Nathaniel Burden is going to take a strike. And it looks like we got another one here. Glenn Burden going to take a strike. Their first strikes. Glenn Burden been focusing pretty heavily on our drag racing scene here at Lanes Raceway. We got a couple live streams up on that, and we've had other tracks come down and visit us. And from Tennessee Top Slots, a really, really prominent area for drag racing slot cars here in the area. And the owners come down and raced here at Lanes Raceway a couple weeks ago, and drag racing's been going pretty good, and we're pleased with it. And a lot of the guys are having a good time. And like I said, Glenn Burden, I never would have thought I'd seen today he would start drag racing, but we ended up building him a rail car, and he's been pretty excited about it. Been doing pretty good in that, and we're just waiting on him to get a win. We've seen him get light money. Now we're waiting on him to get a win. Coming from the circle type of things, it'd be exciting to see that. T's going to grab Glenn. He's going to come off again there. That's going to be his second strike on red lane. Hours for Lanes Raceway, we are closed on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays we're open from 5 to 9. Thursdays we're open from 5 to 9. Fridays we are open from 5 to 10. Saturdays 3 to 10. And Sundays 1 to 10, or 1 to 9, sorry. So it looks like Gunner's coming off, and that'll be 3 strikes for Glenn. And Gunner there is going to take a strike alongside Nathaniel, and that'll be Nathaniel's second. This is out of the norm for Nathaniel. He's usually not coming off as much on the 72 pitch. So Mondays we make our orders, and that's the day whenever we gather up all the stock that is out here at Lanes Raceway and get all that, and then we, pretty much make orders and then get them sent out. And by Wednesday we'll have all the stuff in. But it usually takes quite a few hours to reorder everything, get it all set up. And then we go to town and find those specialty drinks. We got all kinds of weird drinks in there. All the drinks the kids like, and some of them the adults like. I mean, we got a ginger beer in there. It's kind of a strange one, but it ain't bad. Reed's ginger beer. It's kind of like root beer, but made out of ginger. Oops, sorry about that. Head over here to the track mate. Guillermo Sire in the lead, 40 laps. 18.5 for Randy Kirtley. Jay Latham, 17 on average. 16.5 on average for Gunner and Nathaniel. And 6.5 on average for Glenn. Right now, we are live streaming to, let me just make sure, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch currently. If you guys want to chat, the chat is open. We can chat. I don't really text back, but if you're watching the live stream, you'll hear me. 2:05 left to go. We're going to head back over to the main viewing area. Thank our sponsors, Fairview IT Management and Livermore Subway, for their generous donations to the Four Crowns of $1,000 each. These guys are racing for. You need something, T? All right. T's going to take a small break here. She's going to go and let the dog out. Got our dog next door in the Napa building. Keeps him from getting all over everybody. He likes to be petted all the time. And he likes to drool. He's an English bulldog, so he likes to drool. Jay's getting his car put on there. All right, folks, we're about to see it. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Round robin 3 of 8 in the 72 pitch series here at Lanes Raceway. Our final race of the evening. Minute 58 seconds. 2 seconds in it. Nobody's wrecked yet, so they're running smooth. Here we go. Guillermo Sire out on red lane as he comes around the start-finish line first, second, third, and camel hump. He's coming up on Jay Latham, but right before he did that, he over-accelerated out of the camel hump just a hair, and that's going to cause a strike there for our current leader, Guillermo Sire. Last 4 crowns, Guillermo was able to take the blue and green crown, which was the Fairview IT Management Cup Series and the late model Ohio Valley Dirt Late Model Series. We'll see if he can do it again, if not be King of Lanes Raceway this year. He's definitely up in the runnings. So the way it works, there is 4 series in this series. Winter, summer, spring, and fall series, or the crowns, winter, summer, spring, and fall crowns. And each one of those, the guys are racing for points. Whoever has the most points will be the Lord over that series. And then a cumulative of all the laps made during the 4 crowns, whoever gets the most laps made is the King of Lanes Raceway. So if you want to be king, you can't miss races. But if you want to be a lord, you can miss races, because we only count half the races. But for the king, we count every race, just like last year. Glenn Burton going to take another strike here. It'll be his second. Looks like he's going to look at his car or something. Not having a good day in the 72 pitch, Glenn isn't. Guillermo Sire and Randy Kirtley pretty close together, about 2 laps separating them. As we see Nathaniel Burton's car coming off here on white lane. That'll be his first strike. Right now, see Gunner there on black. Right behind him is our leader in the second turn there on red lane. He's down to camel hump. Second to last, now horseshoe on the backstretch, side by side, yet again with Nathaniel Burton. He's kind of pulling away from Nathaniel by about 2 car lengths a lap or so. Side by side with Jay Latham. Guillermo Sire has definitely got a fast accelerating car here and a good braking car at that. And that's what's required here pretty much to win the 72 pitch. Randy Kirtley also there right behind him in the camel hump now, coming up on the yellow car, Jay Latham. He's got a very fast accelerating, a little bit more top end than Guillermo Sire, but it also brakes quite well too. So we get a wreck coming off in the second to last corner. That's going to be Gunnar Vender taking his first strike. 31 seconds left to go. 2 laps are separating second to the lead. Jay Latham there in third with 48 laps. Gunnar 2 laps down from him. But about an equal distance here between Randy and Guillermo Sires. They're about a tenth of a second different in timing between each other. Randy Kirtley actually turned in a faster median than Guillermo Sire at 5.88. A couple tenths better, but fastest lap turned by Guillermo Sire. Nathaniel, going to be 2 strikes. Some of the racers sometimes signal me to see how many strikes they got. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. Like I said, Nathaniel likes to keep a nice steady pace there, just hanging on to it and holding in. It's all about turning laps as we come into our final second there and come into the next rotation. We'll go ahead and clear these strikes out. And we're going to take a look at the track mate. Right now, Guillermo in the lead, 1 lap less than 60. He's 59 laps. 57 laps for Randy Kirtley, 53 for Jay Latham, 50 for Gunner, 49 for Nathaniel, and 16 for Glenn. It's really, when you wreck so far at the end of the track, you're almost forced to have another guy wreck. It happens, and I know that it ain't going to be Guillermo's last time wrecking here, but it's tough, especially when the guys know the track. A lot of the times the wrecks take place whenever they get caught up into traffic, but really that's about it. Like they have to get caught up in traffic and get swooped out from somebody else. So it's kind of a little bit of a crapshoot, but if you know the certain individual that you're racing against, you can plan ahead and not try to push the outside on them, because if you know they're going to wreck you, you definitely don't push the outside in the corner. Uh, but what you can do is try to time it just right, or kind of do some mind games. Like if they think you're going to rush deep, you brake check early and then let them get sold up to where that they come off the corner. It's a lot of mind games in slot car racing, because guys do some shady stuff all the time in this. And if you watch enough of this slot car racing like I have, like I've been watching here, you'll focus in on some of the race leaders, and you'll see how people like change up how they drive when they come up on them. Like they'll push deeper, or you know they'll try to brake real early, or they'll brake in the middle of the corners and stuff, just trying to chop them up. And it's pretty gnarly sometimes, like especially if it's somebody you're rooting for. And then you got me. If I talk about you on the live stream, you're going to wreck. Like I don't know why that is, but it's been that way since we've opened Lanes Raceway. If I talk about you on the live stream, you're going to wreck. Tuesday, though, we'll be on the track just to the right of this one in our RC racing. We got Live RC. You can check us out on Live RC under Lanes Raceway. You kind of see some of the competitive times. We run only one RC cars here at Lanes Raceway. We got the late model, the midget, the sprint car, and the open wheel modified that we race here currently. We do have um, the street stock kits here, and we also have the late model asphalt kits here. We also have other cars for sale that we're not currently yet running into a series. Like we have the super modified, which is a very impressive running car on the track. But the guys have really been enjoying that, and it's a different style of racing. So it's not carpet, and it's not what do you call it? Rubber or anything like that. Well, I guess you can't really say it ain't rubber. It is latex, like it's latex paint. So it's a rubber paint that we paint on it, and we got it color matched to the color of Eldora. I took a color swatch in, got it color matched to a blimp view of Eldora. So, anyways, it's not real dirt, but it's cool. Like the way that it works is you take rubbing alcohol and on a Swiffer, and you douse it and you rub the track with it, and it turns that latex paint over. It makes it super grippy for about, I like to say about 500 laps. And then it it flips it over and kind of dry slicks it, and then it starts acting like a dirt track. And you gotta clean it about once every 3 or 4 races. But it works. And there's just enough slide too. If somebody's on the inside of you and hits you, it's not going to flip you. Like on carpet tracks and stuff like that, they'll actually just slide a little. And we wanted a surface like that. We couldn't really come up with anything. I was like, well, let's just try painting it first and see if we can get that to happen. And sure enough, it worked. So if you guys were contemplating whether or not it works, it does work. Now, I will say this. You want to do at least 2 coatings of the latex paint on your main surface. Now, the dark paint coat surface that you see on the cushion of the track on the inside and the outside, that's just 1 coat, and it's latex too, but it's a flat latex. I said, well, it should be, semi-gloss or something. Well, it's the cushion, man. It's fluffy dirt. but it's not. You know, it's fluffy dirt in imagination land, and that's where I live at the majority of the time. Jay Latham and Gunnar Bender taking strikes here. That'd be Gunner's second, and that'd be Jay's first. Four red lights dropping out to green. Here we go again. And the Frost King coming off on the third corner here. So we see Brian picking him up there. Different camera view here. He's going to pass it to Nathaniel. What a catch. All right, Randy Kirtley there on purple going to take a strike. Randy Kirtley currently was side by side with Guillermo Sire. Now Guillermo's just a little bit behind him now. That's how close these guys are running. You can see how much quicker Randy is on the straights in the backside of the track than Guillermo. But Guillermo is really quick through the first, second, and third corners. Now, currently, right now, Guillermo dodged that wreck out of the horseshoe there. He's fixing to cross the start-finish line there. And right in front of him is Randy Kirtley. So the blue car on the first corner is Randy. Right behind him is Guillermo. Those are your top two leaders. You see how quick Guillermo gets around those first three corners. Starting to catch a little bit of Randy. But Randy makes up so much time on that straight stretch, it's hard for him to make that move. As we see Jay letting off, letting Randy by. As Randy's now on the camel hump, Guillermo is really pushing those corners now as he's catching Randy through the corners here. On the straight stretch, Randy actually losing a little bit on there as if the tire got a slip going through that back stretch. They're side by side yet again in the camel hump. I'm going to go ahead and clear these strikes out. Take a look here at the track mate. Guillermo Sire, 79 laps. Test. All right, microphone went out again. Randy Kirtley, 76 laps in second. Jay, 70 for your top three. 79, 76, 70. 65, Nathaniel. 62, Gunner. And 16, Glenn Burden. Take you back over here to the main screen here. We see Randy Kirtley stickering up his car. Everybody in here is getting a little hot. Currently 70 degrees inside the building at Lanes Raceway. So the guys have been vigorously racing their cars. 2 minutes and 4 seconds. We'll be right back with you. All right, back just in time. 4 red lights dropping out to green. And I'll tell you what, I can't say enough good things about the selection of soaps that my wife has put in our bathroom. Right now, we got some kind of strawberry soda hand soap. Amazing smelling. Lanes Raceway, one of the best places to use the bathroom. We keep her clean, not to mention, we got good soaps and we got dude wipes. First wreck to take place there. Going to be Nathaniel Burden there on Green Lane. I'll put it like this too. You know, not many places take care of their guys like we do. We got Charmin toilet paper. We got the Dude wipes. Now that's a big hit with me. Nothing's worse than you know having to do that sort of thing and not feel clean. I can't stand it. Then we got good soaps. She gets the soaps from Bath and Body Works. Man, would you look at that? Four wide. These guys are running side by side with each other, giving each other room there. Blue, orange, and green lanes. Beautiful. Gunner, Nathaniel, and I believe Guillermo there side by side. Beautiful racing there. As we see Glenn Burden pulling his car there. He's still having issues here, folks. He's trying to figure out what's going on with it. Get another yellow flag here. Randy Kirtley's going to roll around and get it. And that's going to be a strike on Gunner Bender on orange lane. Yeah, I've had a few people ask me, um, why I keep the sound of the microphone so low. Uh, what happens is we're playing copyrighted music here in Lanes Raceway off of uh, one of the programs that's running here. So when that gets heard from the microphone, it puts a yellow emblem up on our stuff, and like people outside of the U.S. can't even hear it. Like it just completely cuts all the sound out of it. And believe it or not, there's some people in, well, I believe when I look like Brazil and Argentina and some stuff like that that are actually watching the race. So I hate for them not to have any kind of sound whatsoever. So that'll be a strike there on Randy Kirtley. That'll be his first. He definitely didn't need that, as he is about 4 to 5 laps down right now. He's needing Guillermo to have a wreck here, but so far, no dice. Let's get a yellow flag here, possibly under the bridge. Two. Two strikes for Gunner there. He thought it was three, so he unhooked. Nathaniel says he's ready to go home so he can go to school tomorrow. Kids do not want to hear that, ever. I remember when I was a kid, I hated hearing it. I do not like school. I never liked it. Randy and what looks to be Nathaniel Burden involved in the incident. Nathaniel's going to take a strike. Randy's going to take a strike. Both of them on their second strike. This is definitely a song I'm going to have to put my hand over. It's Metallica. They'll be trying to give us a copyright strike. Four red lights dropping out to green. Here we go, folks. 48 seconds left to go in round robin 5 of 8. Not as smooth of a race as we're used to in the 72 pitch, but nonetheless, a decent race. They're all kind of spread out pretty good now, at least a corner apart from each other. Randy Kirtley coming up on Jay Latham. Randy able to make the pass there cleanly. So we get a yellow flag there from Jay Latham. He's going to come off on yellow, be his first strike. Right now, Jay Latham turning 17 laps. He's somewhere in the mid-range when it comes to laps turned. Guillermo turning an impressive 20 so far. Randy, of course, reckon they're turning 18. Median about a tenth of a second different between him and Guillermo Sire. Nathaniel and Gunner both turning 16. Jay and Gunner turning the same amount of median time, 6.57. What was that? That sounded like a hard hit. That's going to be a heat over. Sounds like somebody's car got wadded up. We'll go ahead and clear the strikes here. Head over to the track mate. Guillermo Sire, 100 laps even right now. 95 for Randy, 88 for Jay Latham, 82 for Nathaniel, 79 for Gunner, and Glenn with some troubles with 20. Yet again, special thanks to our sponsors of the Four Crowns, Fairview IT Management, sponsoring the Fairview IT Cup Series here at Lanes Raceway. You just watched that race previously. And Livermore Subway, sponsoring the Group 20 wing car on the orange track this series. And they're putting up $1,000 for these guys. And we're matching it at Lanes Raceway with track bucks. So for a total purse of $4,000, these guys are racing for the next 5 weeks. When it's all said and done, we'll have us a big old banquet, giving away shirts, giving away big checks, hitting people with confetti, eating some good food, and just having a good time hanging out with each other. I think I might even turn the pinballs on free play. We might even have a little pinball fun too during the banquet. I can't wait for the banquets. I look forward to them. They're fun. Last banquet we had, Jay Latham and Daniel Taylor made some Boston butts, and we all had barbecue here. And that was pretty good. Do like the banquets. I like when everybody gets together. You can see how much fun we had in our banquets. We got it live streamed from our previous Four Crowns last year. You can see it. We had smoke machines and everything, man. It's a good time. If you do like what you see, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to others that would like this same kind of content. Uh, you know, we're just trying to get slot cars big name out here. It's been going on since, I guess, the late 50s, early 60s, and it's starting to have a resurgence. You know, people really do enjoy the analog way of life now, and slot cars are coming back into play. A lot of people like slot car racing, especially in this area. Not a lot of places opened up, but it takes a lot of room to have a big establishment. We're blessed to have it. My brother owns the building, so that helps a lot. But it's a blessing for all of us guys to get together, hang out, talk racing, talk about the big racing these guys going to. A few of them going to the Alpine race there, I think in Georgia in the next week or so. Going to do the Flexi Challenge Series. They're all working on their cars to get ready for that. Four red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. Right now, Guillermo Sire in the lead, purple, right there behind Randy Kirtley. As he gets about, I would say about a 5 or 6 car lead as he dive bombs it down in the first corner there. Luckily, not causing an incident there. It looks like his car has turned on another level here, gaining some speed there on the straight stretch. As he's pushing a little bit harder in the first corner there. But right now, kind of keeping somewhat of a distance there between him and Randy Kirtley as he gets a nice coast there. We're going to see Gunnar Vinder's car coming off in the second corner there. Of course, Gunnar getting back in the mix here. Hasn't been here a couple weeks, but he's getting back in the mix, trying to get his feeding back under the world track here at Lanes Raceway. He's been doing a lot of hunting and other stuff. In the meantime, Randy lets Guillermo go by on the straight stretch as he's now putting on the pressure on Guillermo. And Guillermo's got a really streamlined car this week. Last week, or the week before last, having a little bit of trouble as Randy makes a dive bomb down on Nathaniel Burden. Glenn Burden's still looking at his car over there. Some issues possibly with it. He's probably retiring for the remainder of the race. Randy Kirtley keeping it within 4 or 5 car lengths to Guillermo as he pushes through the camel hump there. Randy Kirtley really pushing it home as they come up into Jay Latham's yellow car there. Guillermo's able to make the pass on the inside. Randy Kirtley dive bombing it down as they go through the middle section. Jay Latham lifting right outside the camel hump. And Randy Kirtley almost getting into Gunnar Vinder in the second corner again. Second corner giving Gunnar Vinder there on White Lane a little bit of trouble as he'll take his second strike here. Gunnar's going to catch the car with the simplest of ease. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. Guillermo Sire in the camel hump. Coming around to the horseshoe on the front back stretch. Randy Kirtley getting upset as he comes into the camel hump. Just rides it hard. About flips it. Randy Kirtley there going to take a strike. That'll be his first. So Randy gets his car put back on. Gunnar helps him out there. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go, folks. Currently round robin 6 of 8. 30 seconds left to go in the heat. And Guillermo Sire's holding down by about 5 laps here. Guillermo Sire's been pretty flawless this whole race. As he goes through the camel hump, down into the horseshoe, and across the start-finish line, and now back at the camel hump again. So the next car that Guillermo's going to come up on in the camel hump is going to be Gunnar as he makes the pass on the horseshoe here on the straight stretch. And we get a red flag rotation there right at the end. One of the cars coming out. We head over here to the track mate. See Guillermo Sire, 120, 5 laps down from him. Randy at 115, 107 for Jay Latham, 100 for Nathaniel. Gunnar at 96, and 20 for Glenn Burden. Take you back over here to scene 8. Let you watch these guys work. And a special thanks to our sponsors, Fairview IT Management, Livermore, Kentucky Subway, for sponsoring the 4 Crowns. Guillermo Sire going to work on his car there. Coming into the second of the last heat of the evening. This is our last race of the evening, a 72 pitch series. Jay Latham rocking out. Jay Latham currently the king of Lanes Raceway. This mug was posted big time all over Lanes Raceway Old. They say out with the old, in with the new. The new Lanes Raceway has its caveats. The more room is definitely good. It's more room for people to expand, spread out, have parties and stuff here. It's a blessing for sure. Uh, the caveats, it's an old building. We redid a lot of it, but it's got a leaky roof, and it leaks a lot, and it upsets people, myself included. But you can see right there next to the Fairview IT Management sign, just to the right of it, there's a little white styrofoam bucket there catching some snow leakage. But once it quits leaking, I take out the ceiling tile and I go and wring it out, and then I put it back up because it's like fiberglass. Roof guys are supposed to fix it, but they haven't fixed it yet, so I don't know. Hopefully they'll get it fixed. But we got a rubber floor, so even if it does leak, it's not like it's going to rot anything in the floor. It's just that, you know, it's a nuisance. Right before it rains, you have to come in here and put plastic down on the tracks where you think it's going to leak. But so far. It has leaked on the World's track there, right on the D shape of the donut there. Basically where the white line is, the pit white line. We had to come in here and vacuum it up one night while it was raining. But funny thing is, past 3 or 4 nights it hasn't leaked when it's rained or snowed in those spots. It's now leaking in the back. It's weird. It's like it picks and chooses where it wants to leak out at. As we come into round robin 7 of 8, Randy Kirtley is going to hit the button in the second corner. He's going to take a strike. He's going to want to look at the car too, it looks like. Four red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. Caramel Sire there on black lanes. He comes around to the start finish. Randy Kirtley side by side with him. Passing up Jay Latham. Let's get a track call button here. Guillermo Sire is going to toss a car. That's going to be Gunnar Vinder on red. Another yellow flag here. Looks like Gunnar is going to come off again there on red lane. Looks like Jay Latham's car kicking sideways like he's pulling a full-blown drift move in the third corner there. Jay Latham going to take a strike there on white lane. Sounds like an ambulance going down through town. Oh, that's a policeman. Two policemen. This might be a high chase going on. High speed chase, probably. There goes 3 policemen. Wow. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. That's abnormal for this town, folks. That's why I said wow. Did have a high speed chase going through Owensboro about 2 months ago. Me and T was actually involved in it. We wasn't the ones running by no means, but we about had a guy wreck us. So Randy and Nathaniel are going to take a strike here. Losing quite a few frames here. 7,680 so far. Nathaniel Burden coming out again. Looks like we're losing quite a few through the video here. Nathaniel's going to take 2. Jay Latham rocking out. So's Gunner. Playing little drums. Ten seconds left to go in the heat. 140 laps total for Guillermo Sire, followed by Randy Kohler with 133. Jay Latham 122. We see Nathaniel Burden coming off right at the end of the buzzer. And Guillermo Sire also coming off. That was Nathaniel Burden's third strike as he pulls his car. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. And that's going to be a red flag rotation. All right, still streaming on all 3. That's good. We are losing quite a few frames here. I don't know why. All right, going to head over to the track mate here. Guillermo Sire in the lead coming into the last heat. 141, 134 for Randy. Jay Latham 125 there in third position. Nathaniel 114, 113 for Gunner. A little bit of a battle taking place there. And Glenn Burden, of course, dropping out of the race with 20 laps. Coming into the final heat, yet again, another special thanks to our sponsors for the Four Crowns, Fairview IT Management, Livermore, Kentucky Subway, for putting up $2,000 into this purse for these guys to race hard for. T is exhausted. I can see it in her eyes. It's been a hard week for her. Hard week for me too. I've had a lot of orders come in simultaneously together, and it's been a lot putting it all in. And then with the snow and everything else, it's just been rough. But we will make it through. Thank God for these guys. I thank God for Lanes Raceway, a good place to come and hang out. We've definitely been blessed. Lord's took care of us for sure. I am thankful. Jay and Gunner up there doing a little fist boxing in the street there. This is probably the best the racers have done all season long. Is it's feels later than what it is. 7:26 is the current time right now. We're usually finishing this race about 9:30 ish. But these guys have really been racing good. Four red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go, folks. So we focus in on our leader here now, Guillermo Sire. He goes across the start-finish line. Now on the camel hump, he's coming up on Nathaniel as he makes a pass nice and clean. Randy making a pass on Nathaniel. Guillermo at the start-finish line again. Coming up on Jay Latham on the yellow car there. Right in front of Jay, we got Gunnar Vender. Gunnar coming off there in the second corner. Going to take a strike. Brian making a toss there for Jay Latham. All right, here we go again. Car coming off. Guillermo right on the back stretch. Coming into the front stretch. Randy Kirtley says, one more time, Guillermo. If Guillermo does that two more times here in the next few seconds here, it could change things. He needs at least 40 seconds to be able to catch Guillermo. As we see Gunner's car sliding to the side and coming out. Gunner's going to take a strike here on green lane. That'll be his second. And Nathaniel Burton's car going to the high outside there to the second to last corner there. Nathaniel Burton going to take a strike, his first. .50 seconds left to go in the heat. Randy Curley, of course, needing Guillermo to wreck in the next 5 seconds twice. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like Guillermo Sire is going to be solidified as your first person, first place. Guillermo and Randy back and forth as it comes to winners here at Lanes Raceway. Randy makes a pass there on Jay Latham. Guillermo right there side by side with him in the camel hump. As they get 3 wide and Randy Kirtley gets sent by Gunnar Vender. So that will be Randy's first strike. I'm going to have to go over here and fix this exception here that's timed out. Get her back up. There we go. 10 seconds left to go. We'll pretty much solidify our first, second, and third here as Nathaniel Burton comes off in the first corner there. Nathaniel Burton going to take his second strike here. Jay Latham getting him put back on there, though. 4 red lights dropping out to green, possibly for the last time in our 72-pitch LMP series. And that's a checkered flag, folks. Going to go ahead and clear out these strikes here. And take a quick look here at the track mate. Guillermo Sire going to bring home a victory here at 161 total laps. Randy Kirtley getting in a few incidents, costing him to be so close with Guillermo at 154. Jay Latham, 143 there in third place, going to hang on to that third position. Gunnar and Nathaniel going to tie at 130, and Glenn Burton, of course, dropping out early on with 20, not having enough success there in the race, having trouble with his car there. I'll swap it over here to me. Thank you guys for tuning in to the 72 pitch race here at Lanes Raceway. This is our final race of the evening. What a race it was. Nice and smooth for the most part. We've ran through all these races today in record-breaking time. These guys have run impeccably all race long. It's been a great chat all race long. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us here at Lanes Raceway. God bless you guys. Hey, don't forget one thing if you're still watching this. Don't forget to pray for our nation. Don't forget to pray for the people there in California suffering. That's really been weighing on me a lot. And don't forget to pray for your fellow man in your own community that things work out good with them. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And come and see us next week at the Four Crowns as we'll continue on racing the Four Crowns for the next couple of weeks until it's over with. Tuesday nights, we'll be racing RC. Come and check us out there. We'll be live streaming it here at Lanes Raceway on Tuesdays. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to try to get back to live streaming some drag racing action. So come and hang out with us then. God bless you guys yet again, and I'll see you next time here at Lanes Raceway.